Well, hello, YouTube land. D-Roy Cruz, your life applications officer. Here to bug you and bore you with more of this whole group of Christians, Lord help me, around the world that are ticking you off. Whether you be an atheist or whether you be just anti-Christian, okay? I'm going to call this video Christianity versus the Status Quo. When I first wrote these notes from a series of videos that I watched that week, I've had these written down for a while now, but when I first wrote these notes and got these thoughts in my head, on YouTube land, I was really fired up, and I'm calmed down now, so it might not come out the way. I might end up doing a part 2 and maybe a part 3 of this, because some things got to come back to my memory. I don't know, but let's start off with the fact that Christianity is not Christian. Christianity is not Christian. So when I open up my mouth and I start talking, you need to, it's on your responsibility as an American to understand the difference between a wide spectrum of religions. Okay? Versus somebody that might finally have it right. And whether you're an atheist, because you're not going to destroy Christianity without bloodshed. Unless you're an atheist, whether you're an atheist or whether you're just anti-Christian. Which, anti-Christian means you might believe in God, you just don't want Christians opening up their mouths about anything. Atheist means there is no God. So you're anti-God and anti-Christian. So an atheist has a personal vendetta against God. He wants to prove to God that God, you do not exist. Because if God was not there, there would not be anything to prove. Why is there a show called The Atheist Experience where people can call in and piss off Matt Dillahunty? And Matt Dillahunty, when he's losing the argument, he just pushes the button. No, that's not enough evidence for me. No, you putting words in my mouth. No, that is not what we call it, and I always tell people, I always say to myself, what if nobody called you? What if no Christians called the atheist experience at all? And I listen to some of these Christians, and I'm thinking, you're bothered by the fact that somebody told you, and this is all I'm going to say about atheists, because it's not an atheist video, but atheism, without atheism, I wouldn't have this career in YouTube, okay? If it wasn't for atheism, I wouldn't really have much to talk about. I would just be enjoying my Christianity and keeping it to myself. And, but the atheist woke me up and said, hey, come on out here, like Matt Dillahunty in The Atheist Experience. Come on out here. Come on out here. Let me see what you got, So, here I am, okay? But I really don't want to fight with these atheists. I really don't. They have a right to believe what they believe. My question is, where do we draw the line on belief? There's a lot of Christians out there like Steven Anderson. He was asked a question. See, they leave this out of the media. They said, Steven Anderson, you hate homosexuals. He said, I don't hate homosexuals. God hates homosexuals. That's not true either. Matter of fact, it would be more appropriate to say you hate homosexuals and God doesn't. But an atheist would disagree with me. God hates homosexuals. A God that does not exist hates homosexuals. Okay. But he was asked a question. Steven Anderson, you constantly say that God hates homosexuals. Do you hate homosexuals? I hate homosexuals because God hates homosexuals. Both are wrong. Okay? I don't hate homosexuals. I'm just anti-gay. That doesn't mean that I hate homosexuals. And when I say that I'm anti-gay, before I go on, let me say something about that. When I say that I'm anti-gay, that don't mean that a guy like me can't like guys and want to sleep with guys. Let me shut this whole homoerotic thing off right real quick. Status quo here, ladies and gentlemen. When I say that I'm anti-gay, that does not mean that maybe perhaps I never had a gay feeling. That doesn't mean that I can't understand why one guy would want to sleep with another guy. The Bible talks about why. It shows us the cultures and what they went through that one guy slept with another guy. The Bible talks about that. If you look at the writings of King David, or the writings about King David, I should say. Not sure who wrote. I don't think King David wrote about himself, but if you look at the writings of King David, or the writings about King David, whichever, both, okay, you'll see that culture shock has always been prevalent in any society. And men slept with homosexuals back in the day, way back in before you and I ever even thought about being born, okay? There was some gay mess going on, and it was always the same thing to people of God, and another thing to people that were not of God. Now, people that were not of God didn't care whether a nation was completely gay, or, they always had the opportunity to sleep with women and make babies was always there. Even in a nation like Sodom and Gomorrah, what, you don't think women got pregnant? You think women had to be lesbians to get pregnant? No, they were there, but if you read the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, it seems like the gay community was in charge of the community. And not only just Sodom and Gomorrah, but in that region and other towns like it, when Sodom and Gomorrah burnt down, we repeat history in the book of Judges, same chapter 19. What is it about the number 19? I don't get it. But you go from Genesis 19 to Judges 19. History repeats itself in Judges 19. Okay? And this is not a gay, but I'm just saying. It's not a gay video, but I'm just saying. Now we've reached the place where there was a lapse in time. And if you look at history, in the Middle East, Homosexuality never left the Middle East. Not even for a moment. It all depends on what race of people, what culture you're talking about. They were burning and killing homos in the Middle East. And homos, I mean homosexuals, gays, sodomites, male prostitutes, the perverted persons, okay? They were killing these kind of people way back in the 1st century and beyond. And the idea that we have the audacity to think that the morals and values of this country had nothing to do with God, knowing that other countries were still practicing the things that are in the Bible, the whole depravity that is mentioned in the Bible. This was mentioned long before you even were born, before your mama was born, before your grandmother was born. This was going on. How did this Bible know that y'all was coming? That's the number one thing that I keep saying in a lot of my videos is this Bible knew you was coming. Okay? I watched a lot of videos this week. YouTube land. Boy, it will throw you for a loop. And I listened to one guy talk about taking a break from the internet for a while and all social media and getting other things done, and how social media was a distraction and how YouTube was a distraction. And I'm convicted. I stand corrected. Okay? I think I need to do it for a while too. Like, get away, man. Like, because I don't go outside my door and see anti-God people. Now I see anti-Christian. They're all around me. I'm pretty sure my next door neighbor, left and right, they're all anti-Christian. I'm sure a little Asian girl up the street that I would love to go out on a date with is anti-Christian. I'm sure my boss is anti-Christian. I'm sure my doctor is anti-Christian. I'm sure, the dude at work that wants to beat my head through a wall, I'm sure he's anti-Christian. Okay? Especially here in the heart of Pittsburgh, which is very democratic. Pittsburgh is a very democratic, and I'm not trying to mix politics and religion. I'm just using the word Democrat to give you an example. Pittsburgh is a very liberal Democrat city. You go out into the suburbs, status quo, see? We're talking about status quo. You go out into the suburbs, status changes. Why? Because people are more bonded together. People are more, it's got to be the way it needs to be, or you can go back to the city. And everybody finds solace and refuge outside the city. You go to the city to get help, to rob your government of whatever you can steal and get away with. But when you go to the suburbs, it's like, you better have your crap together, or you can go back to the city. Okay? That's the way they treat you. But Christianity is not Christian. Christianity is a palette of all kinds of religions and denominations. And so when a Christian opens his mouth, it is your responsibility. And I might say that a few times in this video. It is your responsibility to know the difference. It's your responsibility to know the difference. Okay? It's not about whether God really exists or not. Okay? Just like it isn't about whether homosexuality is in agreement with the law of physics or in agreement with the, how come there is no law of love and marriage in this country anymore? Did the founding fathers of this country create those laws to control people, as a lot of atheists would say? Or did they create those laws because those were the laws that regulated nations before this one? Why were the Indians wearing grass skirts? Why were the Indians, the Africans, the Polynesians, and the Hawaiians, why were they wearing grass skirts? And when I say Indians, I mean what we now call today Native Americans. Why were they wearing grass skirts when this nation started? When this nation was discovered? By whomever you want to claim discovered it. Why were they wearing grass skirts and dancing around the fire and praying to a God whose name was not Yahweh? Praying to a son and talking about a son that was not Christ the Son. See, the atheists want to use the fact of many religions and many idiots against us. But the facts are, there is no God but Yahweh. And I disagree with this man on YouTube that said yesterday that God and Allah are the same thing, and he tried to do a whole, almost an hour video trying to explain why Christianity and Islam are so similar. Why is it so important for these Islamic maniacs to try and tamper with our Bible and our faith? Them and the atheists got that trick in common. Like, what is it? What is your faith? Why can't you just let us serve God the way we understand it according to document? Why do you have to constantly try to put us in bed with you? And then you want to flip that and try to be arrogant and act like we're the bad guys, but yet it's important for you to claim that we are connected. You're the one that got these dumb atheists and all these other anti-Christian groups talking about Abrahamic religions. The only Abrahamic religion is the Jews. Because the Jews seem to forget, or they seem to deny, like a typical atheist, that Jesus turned what they thought was the church upside down. He brought in the new era of forgiveness, of grace, of sacrifice. The laws of God are written, and the laws of God are within the family now. They are in the house. They are within our hearts, and they are within the house. Okay? We don't have to use symbolism to show who we are. We don't have to dress a certain way to show who we are. We don't have to kill anybody or kill something to show who we are any longer. Jesus Christ, he squashed that. Paul must have been the biggest atheist that ever walked this planet, because he always said, "Oh, wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from this body of sin and death?" However, it is Jesus Christ that saves me and sets me free, gives me the strength, makes me new. changes me from within, from without, and makes me a new person. But if I think that by the law I can save myself, if I think that by creating laws I can save myself, if I think that by charging other people with law I can save myself or them, my faith is invalid. I've got nothing. That's what Paul said. Okay? It is Jesus Christ and Him crucified. Okay? And I still have yet to really study and you know, I admit it's difficult to understand why are we, okay, it was bad enough. To me, it just me. But I'm already a Christian. I'm not going to argue with God. He's God. He can do what He wants to do. That's another thing about status quo you need to understand. Everybody is in agreement with who they can't beat. If you can't beat them, join them. And I'm afraid that if I were to beat Christianity, then I would have to keep beating and beating and beating everybody's philosophy. Because everybody's got their own. That's one reason why I'm a Christian, because I found out when I walked away from God, it wasn't good enough to walk away from God, you dumb atheists. You dumb anti-Christian people. It wasn't good enough to walk away from God. I went to Job Corps, and the dude's sleeping like this in his bed. I'm like, what is that? He's, oh, it's my religion. Okay, oh God. Then the Jehovah's Witness girl, who's a fornicator, who smokes weed, takes us, she comes into the Bible study meeting, thought she was going to squash us at Bible study. Somehow that turned into a black and white issue. Then we got the homosexual guy. Good friend of mine. Good friend of mine. I shared a bunker with this guy. A month later, there's a girl that's demon possessed. Okay, she wasn't demon possessed. What was it then? How did she throw cops across the lawn? Just throwing up cops, just picking up cops half her size and throwing them across the lawn. This knucklehead friend of mine, who's very, very, very gay, he said, I can cast out demons. So I come back from a Bible meeting, and we're in there talking about it at the Bible meeting, and we're praying for these so-called demons that are throwing people. We don't know, we weren't there, so we don't know. And that's another thing you need to understand too about status quo in the church. Because a lot of stuff that goes on, if a Christian is truly innocent, most time he won't be there. Anyway, he'll just hear about it. But, you know, we're sitting in Bible study and we're listening. And we're talking about this. And we're like, wow, what happened? And there's this guy sitting next to me telling a story. I go to my dorm room, and my friend, good friend of mine, very, very gay. He's sitting in there having Bible study. No Bible's out. But he's having Bible study, but no Bible studies with no Bible. Okay? And none of these people are Christians, but they're having Bible study. No Bibles. Bible study without Bible. Not one single Bible. I got my Bible in my hand. Now there's a Bible in the room. He's going to tell me and all these immigrants that he can cast out demons. Let us pray. I was polite about it. I waited till everybody walked out of the room. And then I said, what kind of cockamamie line you think you doing, man? Have you lost your mind? You know good and well, you ain't casting out nothing. Okay? Not only are you in a position, but I got a Bible right here. Show me in here where you are qualified to cast out demons. And what demon did you cast out? The girl's in jail. She's still in there foaming at the mouth. What demon did you cast out? Tattoos. Nazi tattoos. Gothism. All the stuff was going on at that time. You know, in them 2 years that I was in there, all the stuff was going on. And I thank God for the experience. Thank God for the experience, because it kind of woke me up, because I was a backslider when I went in there. I went in there and God showed me what it means if I live a life where there is no God in my life. I asked God, I said, I knew God was real, because if you don't think God is real, why do you need to denounce your salvation? So I knew that there's a presence on me. There's somebody there other than me, but I was mad at God for everything from the death of my mother to my finances to the problems with my other family and the war, the fighting that we started doing and all like that. And then my friend, he decided that we weren't going to leave Pennsylvania. He decided to turn around and come back, and he moved me into a ghetto. And I'm thinking, why can't I live in your neighborhood? Well, today I'm glad I don't live in this neighborhood. Because in his neighborhood, me and him were just talking about this on the phone. He couldn't believe it. Okay? We're talking 2000 and when was it? 2014. 2015 was the last time this guy was able to do this to me. Twice that year, if not more. Same old guy in a little beat up red Plymouth ride by me while I'm walking to work in this lovely little sweet neighborhood and call me the N-word. And this guy gets hard on black people because they ain't doing any better with creating the Colin Flaherty channel. I'm tired of seeing black folks on Colin Flaherty. I'm tired of seeing black folks on the Tommy Sotomayor channel. It's time to, ain't none of these immigrants. There ain't no channel for the Mexicans that are screwing. Well, there is in their own country. Not here in America. I'm only dealing with America. There ain't no videos of no Mexicans screwing things up here in America. There ain't no videos of no Chinese or Japanese jacking everything up, throwing over the tables, beating up cops, beating up white folks, beating up black folks, doing all this damage here in America. But before I beat up on somebody's kid because he thought he was so smart and cute, over some words, and my black behind end up in jail, okay? And then we're going to have Kanye West tell me, or tell a lot of hundreds of black people in the name of Christ, which I ain't got nothing to do with it, but he's going to tell 100 black people in the name of Christ that, oh, too many of our people are in jail. But did I beat the white boy up or did I not? The question is not whether the cops were racist and they put me in jail because they white. The question is, if I did it to a black person, should I not be in jail and serve the same sentence? That's the question. Okay? We got to get our questions right in this country. We got to get our questions right in this country. We sitting next to white people, and these white people feeding us money and food and respirations and feeding us free rides and feeding us affirmative action and all this garbage. And then we're going to turn around and we're going to say, we're going to sit there and say something in the room about racism, but white folks ain't allowed to say it. We're going to sit there and tell 100 white folks, one Negro in there, we're going to tell all these white people, oh, what the problem is with white people, say that 100 times. But these white people don't get to say black people. They don't get to do that. And I don't care whether it's one black guy in a room full of white people, okay? Or one white person in a room full of black people. White people never get to say black. Blame it on the blacks. Status quo. This is the state that we're in. Christianity is not Christian. Christians are not Christianity. It's like going to a Mercedes dealer and finding a bunch of Nissans and Toyotas. Which one's a Mercedes? Which one's really a Mercedes? Just because a Mercedes dealer can sell you a Toyota, that doesn't make the Toyota a Mercedes. And that's the way I look at this whole trying to sort through what's Christian and what's not. There's a Rolls Royce. Okay. And there is a Toyota Rose. What's the difference? Okay. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. So, all these Christians, somebody else was telling me this not too long ago, that they opened up their mouth and they were accused of being gay. And I watched some videos this week, well, last week actually, about all these gay people hating on gays. Let me tell you something. You idiots. Do you watch enough YouTube? Have you been to the average, black church? I hate to say that. I'm black. I hate to say that, but I'm going to say it. Have you been to the average black church today? Why is Geno Jennings flipping out on YouTube? Why is Emmanuel flipping out on YouTube? Why is Steven Anderson flipping out on YouTube? Why is Kanye West constantly doing interviews and trying to confess? Why is Benny Hinn finally confessing up to some stuff? Why? Because the church is not the foundation of Christianity or Christians any longer. In the average black church, we either can be gay and Christian at the same time, or we can just decide not to judge and not talk about it. So as a black man, okay, if I want to be gay and be a Christian, or be gay and play Christian, or be gay and just hate on other gays because I want something from the gay community sexually and I'm not getting it, all you dummies, that's my prerogative. I can do that. I have no need to talk about homosexuality when I could be out there enjoying it. And it's ironic that it's easier to find a gay lover than it is a female lover, if I want to be a fornicator. I know some guys right now that I'd get me a BJ in less than a couple days if I was to sit behind him on the bus and say, "Hey, brother, what's going on? You mighty quiet over here. Why you so quiet? Loosen up, relax a little bit." Just like in the Bible days. Because you're making this preference thing up as you go along. Because the gay community is just as divided as any other community. So if you need to be among the local people, you're going to end up on the bottom as a homosexual. And it's really weird to me how in a place like Pittsburgh that it's very liberal, how most of the people that I run into every day ain't gay. Now, there's always somebody gay on the bus. There's always somebody gay. We know who they are at work. How do we know this? Why is it our business? Why you keep making it our business? The same people that will sit there and say, "Well, there ain't nothing wrong with being gay. I ain't got nothing against gay people," are the same people that will come to me and tell me who's gay and who's not. And I'm thinking, why is this any of my business? But what's good for the goose is good for the gander, if I'm saying that right. If you're allowed to be gay, am I allowed to be anti-gay? If you're really gay, then you're anti-heterosexual, right? Right? If you're really gay, then you're anti-heterosexual. Doesn't a lot of gay people think that being bisexual is kind of nasty? And I know straight people think about bisexualism and gay is the same thing. Most of us, this is the thing. Most people, especially coming from a Christian vein, don't think that anybody's really gay. To us, gayism is a sexual act that you decide to live with and let it be your favorite thing. It is not who you are. It is just a thing that you do. Just like I know from experience, and I'm closing, I'm out of time, that lesbians assume that every guy fits in this box right here. But when this guy steps outside that box, they find one guy that steps outside that box, maybe in looks, in personality. He seems like he's on the same level as her as far as being a victim of something. Then they pay close attention to this particular guy because they know that if there were no men, they would not be lesbians. If there were no men to upset them and cause them to be lesbian, they wouldn't be lesbian. Why is it so important to come out of something that you are? I'm black. Do I need to come out as black? Well, I'm black. I just wanted to come out of the closet. Dude, we can see you black. It's all over you. Well, yeah, I just wanted to come out of the closet, let you know I'm black. I was hiding it for a while. But now I'm coming clean. I'm coming out of the closet. You know what I'm saying? That's like a white person saying, well, I was hiding. Now I'm coming out of the closet. I'm really white. Trust me, I'm really white. And I only like white people. And I only like white guys. And I'm just white. So, if you're anti-Christian, gay, anti-Christian, obviously, anti-heterosexual, because you vowed, hey, like the girl trying to get my house to use my phone while my wife was gone. Hey, look at me, I'm gay. You still a woman, sweetheart. Me and my wife got policies and rules about my house. Not that we don't trust each other. But your wife is a friend of mine. My wife don't want no women in the house, whether they gay or straight, because they still women. Okay? And she just looked at me. Yeah. You can, just because you gay, that don't make you beat the law of physics. That don't make you beat the law of gravity. That don't make you beat the law of biology. That don't make you beat the law of chromosomes. That doesn't take away your beauty. That does not take away what you got between your legs or you know what I'm saying. Just because you gay, you're still a woman. And I have a right to treat you by what I understand. Even if what I understand is wrong, I'm only going by what I understand. Like y'all do us Christians. Well, atheists only understand, homosexuals understand, and anti-Christian people only understand this a certain way. So this is the way it's got to be. And there's no law against that. Well, it should be the same for us Christians. We understand, until you prove otherwise, that this is a sin against God. It's not really who you are. It's you practicing being a sinner and calling it love and lifestyle. But that's a lie. And I have to do a part 2 and a part 3 because I haven't even got down to the second clip on my notes yet, but I'm having fun with this. So here's my new series of videos that I'll be doing. God bless you, D. Recruiter Life Applications Officer. See you soon with more. God bless.